According to the Environmental Protection Agency, food waste and packaging account for nearly 45% of trash sent to U.S. landfills. U.S. restaurants generate 11.4 million tons of organic trash each year. The average family of four throws away $1,500 a year in wasted food. While these numbers can be overwhelming, plenty of people are finding creative ways to not only recycle packaging, but to upcycle food byproducts. In Detroit, a city of invention and reinvention, recycling, reuse, upcycling, and salvage are not new. I'm Amanda Saab. I was born and raised in Dearborn, Michigan. Dearborn is home to the oldest mosque in the United States, the American Muslim Society Mosque built in 1938, and the largest mosque, the Islamic Center of America, which is the one I go to. Like most in the United States, whether going back one generation or several, my family are immigrants. We came for jobs, for opportunity, for safety, and for a place to call home. My grandparents owned a grocery store, and I helped them sell produce on the weekends. I am a baker, and I am a mother. My love for cooking grew as I baked with my mother and my grandmother. In the kitchens of my childhood and in the tradition of eating halal, food was and is sacred. I share that with my own daughter, Hannah. Why fill landfills when we can fill plates and bellies, stretch budgets, and share our abundance? With the help of my friends in the Detroit food community, I'm going to make food, not waste. Love. Songwriters have asked, what is love? And others have answered, love is a battlefield, and love is all you need. We've seen the empty lots of raised houses of Detroit. We've seen blight from a decades-long decline. However, not all spaces were neglected, abandoned, or in need of saving. Love is an intense feeling of deep affection. Love is holding something or someone dear. As a baker, love is one of my favorite ingredients. My grandparents had a stall in the Eastern Market, and my dad still works here. Opened in 1841, the Eastern Market occupies 43 acres, the largest historic public market district in the United States. Since World War II, the market has been an important hub for wholesalers, food distribution, and food processing. Butchers, purveyors of dry goods, and bread makers still occupy many of the permanent spaces. I love coming to the Eastern Market to chat with farmers and to find fresh ingredients. Today I'm here to talk to fellow baker Sarah Reed. Raised in Detroit, Michigan, Sarah Reed and her husband Reuben started their baking business, Flavorful Creations LLC, after experiencing economic hardship and personal loss. However, what keeps them in business is the love in their partnership and the love Sarah puts into everything she bakes. Sarah and Reuben got their start as vendors in Eastern Market, and they've grown their business as they've grown their family. While Flavorful Creations LLC now sells their baked goods in markets all over the city, Sarah's ties with Eastern Market run deep. Sarah still has a booth at the market, and she also bakes in the Eastern Market's commercial kitchen. I'm going to check out what Sarah's got for the market today.
Hey, Sarah!
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I was looking for you at your stall.
Yeah, I'm about to get in here and bake in this kitchen. Would you like to come?
I'd love to.
Okay,
Thank you
perfect.
so
Come on.
much. Oh, nothing more I'd love to do than bake.
I know, baking is such a release. It's such a good therapeutic moment.
It really is.
Grab my key here. All right. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
After you.
Thank you.
It's so great to reconnect and catch up on
Yes.
what you've been doing. I know we're both social workers turned bakers.
I know, right?
How did you make that transition?
Oh my goodness. So I've always loved baking. It's just, and I still love social work, don't get me wrong, but the baking took over that therapeutic aspect. And after I had my second son, it was just easier for me to transition into that and still spend more time with the boys. So
Where does your inspiration and love for baking come from? When did you start baking?
baking and making things from scratch and just, seeing it come to life, it just brings me so much joy. So I started baking when I was 9, so I'm not gonna date myself now. But my mom and I, we would bake together, and we'd bake things from scratch with the glass bowl, wooden spoon, stirring, and just being a part of that process from start to finish was awesome. And then when I got an electric mixer, you couldn't tell me anything, so I was hot stuff with the electric mixer. So That's where that came from.
I love that, and such like a great way to step up your baking game, just like improving your tools and doing all of that. What's your favorite food memory growing up?
Oh my gosh, it's definitely, baking with my mom. And before her mom passed away, she would fly in from England and we'd bake together. So she showed me how to make some of the traditional Jamaican dishes like dumplings, and we'd do apple pie from scratch. And so just all of that, I loved just being immersed in that.
You bring up your Jamaican heritage. Does that like inform any of the flavors and products you create now?
Absolutely. So what we're going to make today is the Island Monkey Banana Bread. So I like, kind of putting the island flair on it and with the different flavors, and then with our family recipe of the rum cakes. It's a traditional family recipe, but with my spin on it. So the different flavors and the different blends of rum. So that all plays a part into it.
I love how you take kind of like your memories and your culture and like really like influence how you're baking and what you're baking for everyone now. You got a busy business. You're supplying cafes and markets, and you're here in the Eastern market. How do you think about food waste when running your business?
Everything has a cost. There's a cost associated with everything. So when I can find bananas that are clearance, like the overripe bananas that people would typically just pass by or they get discarded, I purchase those because one, I can get those on clearance. Two, they're even sweeter. So all of that plays a part in my bottom line.
I love that. I love that like you're clearing the shelves of these products that might not be tossed if people aren't buying them. And then you're saving your business's bottom line, and they're sweeter, so we're gonna get a better product in the end. That's absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
Are we gonna get baking?
Yeah, you
All
ready?
right, let's do it.
Okay.
Sarah, tell me about the unique ingredients in your Island Monkey banana bread.
Okay, so as you can see, there's an array of ingredients over here. Got the coconut, which is unique. Got some flaxseed right here.
Wow.
Yogurt. And a lot of these can also be substituted out, so you just don't have to have what's on here. You can go with whatever your preference is. I also like to use whole wheat flour and, believe it or not, Okara flour.
Wow.
This Okara flour is from Renewal Mills. They make their Okara flour by upcycling soybean pulp that comes from the production of soy milk. It's non-GMO and organic.
And tell me about these bananas all marked up in red.
These are some of my favorite bananas. So remember I was telling you oftentimes people just discard these or walk right past. Well, these bananas right here are on clearance. So it also helps with my bottom line. And I'm very careful about the quality of ingredients that I use for my food. Check these. These ones are organic.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes. And they're the same price. So I'm still paying a low price, the same low price for organic and non-organic bananas.
That's wonderful. Should we jump into the recipe?
Absolutely. Let's get started. So first we're going to start with our butter. So it's a half cup of butter. If you could just put that in there for me, please. Thank you.
Of course.
And then we have our sugar. Now you can always substitute whatever type of sugars that you use. In this case, I'm using the cane sugar. That's just my preference. I like it sweet, but it doesn't have to be too sweet. And I'll turn on the mixer for you.
I love how you use, quality ingredients through and through from start to finish. You're using that cane sugar. You got organic bananas for us, flax seeds. This almost seems like it's a healthy dessert.
It is, and I don't like to tell people that
Right.
because, people sometimes equate healthy with no taste, but that's just not the case. So that's also why you have your additional things that act as sweeteners. So you've got the bananas, you've got the coconut, and you have the milk chocolate, just as long as you don't go overboard, and it brings a nice balance of flavors. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the eggs.
Do you want me to crack those up?
Yes, if you could, please crack those eggs.
And these can go into our compost.
Perfect. So nothing's going to waste. Everything's
Definitely.
going right back in.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Turn that on. So I just like everything to just incorporate to one another. It doesn't have to necessarily be a full mix because everything's going to get blended up together.
And we got okra flour and
Yes.
whole wheat flour.
It's actually okara flour, not to be confused with okra. Next, we're going to put in the baking soda, the salt, and the flaxseed, which also adds to the texture.
I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. I like for this to mix up, like I said, make sure everything's fully incorporated. So if you could hand me the spatula, please.
Of course.
Or just even mix it around, because sometimes that flour gets stuck when I turn it off.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, always scrape your bowl.
Absolutely, because you want to get all the yumminess into your product.
Definitely. So if someone doesn't have bananas on hand, could they make a substitution for another fruit?
You know what? Applesauce.
Oh,
You can use applesauce for your bread.
that's a great one.
Then you can kind of turn it into a vegan bread if you want to.
Wow. And we are coming up on apple season, so if you're into preserving that and making your applesauce yourself, that's a good way to.
I love that. All right, so next, let's see, we have dairy. So we're going to put in the yogurt. So this is where, anybody, if they want to substitute it with milk, or you even mentioned sour cream, you could do that too.
Yeah, that's like that old school baking, just like add more fat. I love how you're using Greek yogurt, and I'm like, oh yeah, use sour cream.
Yeah, I mean, you can. It's whatever your preference is,
Right.
whatever you choose, or whatever you have on hand. Shoot, maybe you ran out of sour cream, you got yogurt.
And could you use like a flavored yogurt if you had, maybe like vanilla or something that you
You
had?
can use a vanilla, but you also have to remember that's going to add into your sugar. So just
True.
keep that in mind as
That's a
well.
good point.
If you want to, It's starting to smell good already.
It really is. And the texture is so interesting. I've never seen a banana bread come together in this way.
Wait till you add those bananas and you get all of the smells. Speed that up just a little bit. And the thing I like about banana bread, it doesn't take that long to make.
What other varieties or like add-ins do you add to your banana breads?
So sometimes I can add a little pineapple. You can switch up the chocolates. Like if you wanted to use a dark chocolate, you could use a dark chocolate. You could use a semi-sweet, a milk chocolate, a white chocolate. Whatever your preference is, you can add that.
That's wonderful.
So next we're going to go ahead and add our banana.
Yay. And do you smash these up, or, I mean, they're soft enough to.
I mean, that's the beauty of it when you get them like this. You can just break them up and then let the mixer do the rest.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And this might be a good way also to bring your kiddos into the kitchen. I know my
Yes.
daughter loves
Yes.
doing these sorts of things in the kitchen with me, especially if it's smushing something.
Oh my gosh, my son, the smush master, okay? Sheesh, smush master. But yeah, this is a good project to do with your kids, because not only is it getting them involved, but it teaches them math. So, I know the homeschooling thing is coming up, so that's something to
Definitely.
get that
I love that.
started. Crank that up. There we go. Oh, wait till you smell it.
Immediately, you get that banana.
And that's the thing. With the discarded bananas, so many people would have passed them by, but you get an even sweeter smell, and the taste is going to be amazing also.
That's wonderful.
So yeah, see, when you just break up those bananas, you can turn the mixer up a little bit and just let it smush up the rest.
And it's like already like so smooth. Like it was looking kind of like sandy and thick, and now it's
That's
looking
that
like a
yogurt
cake.
and those bananas, yes.
oh my
So I'm
gosh.
gonna turn this down. If you could scrape down the
Yes.
sides again for me, please.
Of
Like I
course.
said, you don't want to leave anything out. You want everything in your bread.
Oh my god, it smells incredible. But it doesn't smell, or I mean, probably doesn't even taste. I'm excited to taste it.
No, and I've tasted the flour on its own. Tastes like regular flour. All right, so next we are going to put in the coconuts.
Now it's getting kind of tropical.
Yes.
That's like the island monkey banana
Right.
bread.
This is typically where I'm here at the kitchen. I turn the tunes on. I get a little groove going, a little island
love
groove going. All right, perfect. Yep, chocolate chips, please.
You got it.
Absolutely. And you don't even need to you can either fold those in with the spatula or you can just mix it. Since we're here at the mixer, just mix it.
Right. And I love that like you're listening to music, getting the vibe right, like all of that energy is in your baked goods.
Yes, yes, you've got to. It's so important. It goes back to that therapeutic aspect from our social work background. Like, you bring that good energy into the food and then people taste it and they eat it and they feel the love. That's an important ingredient. If you're not feeling it, you need to take a step back, get your mind and your soul right, and then step back into it. Now look at this.
This is beautiful.
So we're just gonna scrape down the sides one more time. And now you can get ready to put it in. And one thing I love to do, since we're talking about having zero waste, the same butter paper that I use, you take that, even the melted butter from the pan, you can use that. If you can use a cooking spray as well, you can take that and you can use it for your pans to butter your pans.
And that's exactly what I do, and it's such a great tip to do at home because you're saving. You don't have to like get like a can of nonstick spray. You don't have to melt any more butter. You're making sure you kind of scrape down, the pan that you melted your butter in.
Absolutely.
This is like a truly like zero waste, like start to finish.
Because and it rolls into that bottom line. So having that business, you want to make sure you're keeping, your bottom line. Oh, this is looking so good. I cannot wait till you taste this.
I love how they're baked in minis because that means it's like a single serving, right?
Yeah. And then it cooks faster. So if you are hungry like I am and you're ready to chow down and eat it, you don't have to wait as long.
All right. And how do you portion these out?
So typically, I just eye it.
Okay.
But if you want to be technical, that's a spatula full, a big heaping from the spatula.
I'm gonna bring this a little bit
There you go.
closer.
That's looking good.
It smells incredible.
Because they're going to bake up really nice and plump.
How many of these do you think you make per week?
I would say at least 25 breads a week.
Wow.
But look at the batter. You get, a substantial amount from your batter.
And how many of them do you eat?
I don't eat it as much. Believe it or not, bananas are not my most favorite thing.
Really?
Yeah, but the bread, when you incorporate everything else into the bread, it makes it even more tastier for me. Then it's like a great snack or for breakfast. You can use it with that. So
I want this for breakfast every day. Every day of the week.
With coffee or with your tea. We're going to go and put these in the oven and they can bake on 350. These sizes usually take about 20 minutes.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
Exactly.
Now I understand why you do the minis.
Exactly.
So how long will these bake for?
These need about 20 minutes to stay in the oven.
Not bad at all.
Yes, that's why I like making them smaller.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Banana bread smells incredible.
Thank you so much. I can't wait for you to taste it.
Thank you. Let's get them out of the oven.
All right.
Ooh.
Beautiful. It's hot.
Do we have to wait for these to cool before we eat them?
Unfortunately, that's the hard part, but it's well worth the wait. All right.
This smells absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you for teaching me how to use a product I would have completely passed over in the grocery store and create something that's so aromatic. I can't wait to dig in.
The texture is amazing. You can't even tell it's a soy product. Adding 1/4 to 1/2 cup of okara flour makes this a little healthier.
And I cut myself a piece of this. I'm so excited. Oh, wow. Look at all those chocolate chips. And the coconut.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait till you taste it.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, my.
You know what? You're making me.
Wow.
I gotta get in a little corner right here. Get in here.
Like more surprises. We get the chocolate, the
Yep.
shreds of coconut, that texture.
I told you.
The flaxseed gives it like a nuttiness almost.
Yes.
This is
You
incredible.
can't even tell it's okara flour.
No,
Yep.
this is wonderful. I need another bite.
Yes. Please help yourself. There's plenty of bread.
The banana is not like
No, it's not
overpow-
overpowering.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
The chocolate is so good. I love that you use milk chocolate. And the coconut, the texture. I love the coconut in there. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it
start
just-
doing that to my banana bread.
Exactly. It's a burst of flavor in your mouth, which is our tagline, a burst of creativity.
Oh, I love that. And the flaxseed, but it's mealed down, so it's
Exactly. So it's not that rough and coarse texture. Everything is a perfect blend together. And the way those chocolate chips pop out.
I'm gonna eat all of this.
Go ahead, it's fine. No judgment, no judgment.
It's healthy.
Exactly.
Now I see why people flock to the Eastern Market to get this bread. This is incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for teaching me your secrets, all
You're
your mystery
welcome.
ingredients
You're
in there.
welcome.
Oh, this was wonderful.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
Meeting up with Sarah and helping her make island monkey bread has made me think about the different ways we can replace ingredients. People have allergies and different dietary needs and practices, but that doesn't mean we can't enjoy foods together. Gluten-free flours easily replace wheat, and aquafaba can replace eggs in cocktails and meringues. However, one thing I'm hesitant to replace is sugar. Throughout the centuries, sugar has been a symbol of royalty, coveted as currency and applied medicinally. Though, modern medicine might have something to say about that last one. As we've seen, sugar also has preservative qualities. I'm obsessed with sugar, so I can relate to Manal Hussein. Raised in Detroit, Michigan, Manal Hussein started out in marketing management, but realized her passion was in baking. Inspired by her Middle Eastern roots and her sweet tooth, Manal established For the Love of Sugar in 2010. Since then, Manal has created comforting treats. Manal Hussein's canvas is cake and sugar is her paintbrush. Manal and I share a love of sugar, so I'm excited to see her.
Hey.
Hey, Manal.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
So I've been meeting with a bunch of my Detroit food friends to learn how to salvage food and reduce food waste.
Awesome. So what'd you learn?
So far I've learned from Omar how to preserve lemons. He actually
Okay.
used it in a tart, which was amazing.
Oh, that sounds so
and
good.
David also used lemons in a syrup using the husk to reduce it down.
Oh.
What
that
are your
sounds
thoughts
awesome.
on lemons?
I love lemon. I grew up like lemon on everything. Preserved lemons especially. I know I like to use it, like boil it down, and it creates like a great scent in the house.
So tell me about the name For the Love of Sugar. Where did that come from? Where is that love of sugar from?
It's from my belly and my love of sugar, basically. It's just one of those things where, you know, my mom is an amazing cook and she did a lot of cooking, but for me, I can give up food, but don't ask me to give up my dessert. So there's always room for dessert. So it's just one of that name is just For the Love of Sugar. There's so many different things you can do with it. You know, sugar is like a great preservative for a lot of things. One of the things I love to use it in is a jam. I love even like natural sugars, like I really love. So like fruit is a huge one. So preserving those has become like just like one of those things where it's like you have fruit, it's going bad, what are you gonna do with it? Sometimes I'll freeze them, sometimes I'll make preserves with them.
I love that. I love that you use something that you're so passionate about, that
Yeah.
your bakery is named after, as a way to prevent food waste and salvage
Yeah.
food in a way.
For sure.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
I know you talked about your mom. What's like one of your favorite like food memories growing up?
Probably waking up in the morning and then just smelling all the amazing foods that she's making, because, you know, being Lebanese, food is a huge, like, it surrounds like all types of gatherings. So when we eat, there usually isn't just one meal. There's like multiple dishes. The best memories usually involve food. You know, being surrounded by your loved ones or whatever it is. I used to actually I used to bake brunch and like invite my friends over all the time. I used to have tea parties and just invite them over all the time. And I love, that's like my outlet. You know, food is my outlet to spread that love and spread that togetherness. So I eat halal, and that's like one of those things where, so the animal, the livestock is treated in a humane manner, and it's fed well, it's bred well, and then when it's killed in a humane way. And all parts of the meat is used. And yeah, so sometimes they'll eat like the tongue of the cow or the liver of the cow. I personally can't eat it, but it's just a reminder of being able to salvage every part of the animal, so that it does not go to waste and it's used to its full potential.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
And I think like you kind of pull some of that like cultural teaching of like not wasting food into your business now,
100%.
and using all the ingredients and finding creative ways to use things that might have otherwise been waste.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things that I've had to sort of get creative with is egg yolks. So we use a lot of egg whites in the French macaron, and when there's a lot of something, I have to figure out something. I do not like throwing anything away. So I started making custards, and then I was like, what can I use with this custard? And I made we have a triple berry cake. It's a white cake, Bavarian cream, and triple berry jam. So the Bavarian cream is made with that custard, but I still had so many yolks left. So I was like, okay, what can I do with this now? And then frozen custard. So I started experimenting with that, and it kind of just it just became such a huge staple, and it's one of those outlets that I can use to get creative with and create new flavors as well, and also to salvage other items that possibly could not be used otherwise. You know, being in a bakery and having bakers, sometimes, I mean, baking is not like food. You put it in the oven and it either comes out well or it doesn't, or there's something wrong with it. So sometimes, you know, they might forget an ingredient or not follow the recipe properly, and something happens. And if I can salvage that rather than throw it away, that's extremely important to me. For example, we have like a honey lavender custard right now, and we had a huge batch of macaroon shells not come out properly, because macaroons are so temperamental. So it's really important to me to figure out something to do with them. So I ended up putting them in ice cream and making a honey lavender macaroon ice cream, and it's become such a huge hit that I'm probably gonna be bringing it back. So it's the creativity and utilizing items that could go to waste otherwise is extremely important to me.
I love that. And do you think kind of like your background in like business, working in business, has like led you to be able to run your bakery in such a successful manner?
100%. I mean, I went to school for marketing management, and you know, you learn about products, price, placement, and you know, price is a huge thing. I mean, yeah, food is great and desserts are great, but bakeries in general don't have a huge profit margin. If you're baking because you love it, because you love to do it. And so in regards to that, it's important that you're not wasting a lot of the items, and then there goes your profit margins, there goes whatever it is. So if I can utilize whatever that is into something else, that becomes more of a profit and more of a product. When I do cook at home, rather than like pick a meal that a random meal I want to make, I always will look in the refrigerator first, see what I have, and then base it off of that. It also helps get the creative juices rolling and stuff. But yeah, so it's really important to me not to create waste, but more to create something new.
I love that, and I think you're doing such a great job
Thank
of
you.
that. And I love seeing like the creativity and like new products being developed
Yeah,
out of like
yeah.
something that might have been waste before. So that's really awesome. And I think we're going to be baking something really creative today, and I'm really
Yeah.
excited for that.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. So this is one of my creations I made a really long time ago because it's based on a Middle Eastern dessert, and then I sort of just wanted to make it my own and made like it more Americanized and modern. So it's based off of a Middle Eastern dessert called knafe, and it has like rose water flavors, orange blossom flavors, shredded phyllo dough, pistachios, and but today we're going to be creating the buttercream that goes into it, which is used with dairy. So a lot of times, so in Lebanon, the milk is not refrigerated. A lot of times it's left out and it's really fresh. The only problem with that is it can go rancid quicker. So they have to find ways to use it. And one of those ways is we make ashta. So ashta is a clotted cream, and it has like the rose water, the orange blossom in it. And it's typically eaten with like fresh fruit and sprinkled pistachios and honey on it. It's really good. Amazing. Awesome. So we're going to be using that for the filling. So we're going to make the ashta and fill some cake.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to pour my milk.
And you use whole milk?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's really important to use whole milk because you'll get a lot more out of it.
Definitely.
And then I have apple cider vinegar here, but you can use regular vinegar.
Okay, like white vinegar?
Yep. Sorry. Wait. And then I'm going to put 2 tablespoons.
So 4 cups of whole milk, 2 tablespoons of apple cider or white vinegar.
And then that's it. So for
Oh,
the
wow.
ashta, that's it. Some people make it with some people make it with like bread. But what's gonna happen is this vinegar is gonna react, and then the milk is gonna become a clotted cream.
Wow.
And then we're just gonna put that through a cheesecloth and then separate it. You'll see as it's cooking how it separates.
How long does this usually take for kind of this process?
Not long.
Okay.
Maybe like a few minutes. I just like to mix it in and then let it sit. But you can see it's already starting to,
Yeah, you see the
to
kernels?
separate. Yep, exactly.
And you were mentioning that if you have milk that's about to spoil,
Yeah,
this is a good way to...
it's a great way. And I didn't put that much because I'm only making a small recipe. But you can make a lot and then just like store it in a Tupperware or even freeze it.
Wow.
Like in different Tupperwares.
So what else can you do with this recipe and use in addition to...
So some people, like if you don't have vinegar at home, some people can use, some people do it with the stale bread method. So you can grab stale bread so that doesn't go to waste, and you can mix it in and cook it with the milk. And what happens is the bread will absorb the milk, and that's how you get those like the really thick like cream in
Yeah.
there. So that way you put that milk to use and you put that bread to use.
I love that there's like so many ways by like making ashta. Like this is truly like a dish that takes something that might have been waste
Exactly.
and creates something delicious, and you can use it in different methods.
Yeah, you can eat it with toast. You can put it on your fruit. So it's a very versatile actual like recipe as well. So this looks like it's coming together very nicely. Now it happens pretty quickly. So now you're gonna see it really separate.
Yep.
And I want the like liquid to be a little bit more clear. So we have a nice separation.
And you can even add like salt and herbs to this and make this more savory.
Yeah, so once it's done on the stove, I'm actually going to add the rose water and orange blossom.
Nice.
But you can add pretty much whatever you want to it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And then I'm going to take it and pour it over a cheesecloth.
Wonderful.
So right now we're going to fill the knafe cake. I have the knafe cake right here, the shredded phyllo dough, the pistachios, and then, sorry, I'm just going to reach over and grab the filling. This is the ashta buttercream that we made. And I'm going to start by trimming the cakes.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Do you have any tips or tricks to like trimming?
Yeah, so you want your cake to be level. So I'm going to show you how I typically do it. Right now, this is actually pretty level.
Yeah, looks like it baked pretty well.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna trim it a little bit, just because it's a little too tall. And then, so we'll just do that.
And we're gonna compost these shreds.
Yes.
Or another way you can kind of reuse or repurpose is cake pops.
Yep. Yeah, so I used to do those from home. The only thing is we don't have the space here to make cake pops because they're another like finicky item to make because like the chocolate's got to be a certain temperature and sometimes you can add too much buttercream to the actual cake. So yeah, I used to make those all the time and they're super good, but they're fun to make. Like if you have scraps and you're at home and you want to just mush some cake with buttercream, for sure.
Definitely. I think it's like a great way to get your kid involved too.
Yes,
like when
for
you're building
sure.
a cake and you're like, oh, what are we going to do with these scraps? Let's make some cake pops and they can get in with their fingers.
Oh yeah, they get nice and messy because I mean that's
My
that's
daughter
fun
loves
for
that.
them, no matter what it is. If it gets messy, then okay, cool.
Definitely. But I love how your cakes, like the trimming is very minimal as well.
It
It's
is,
not
yeah.
like you're taking a huge chunk. They seem to bake really evenly. So
Yeah.
you're like minimizing
Exactly.
on that too.
So I did. That is one thing I took into consideration when doing the recipes, and then how much batter to put in the pan and all of that. Some of them do have higher domes, but these ones are bake off pretty well. So now that I got my cakes trimmed, I'm gonna do the filling. So I have a buttercream bag right here. So I'm gonna put a dam in the cake because the Ashta buttercream, it has more moisture than typical fillings. So it's a little bit more loose. So I wanna make sure I have a nice secure dam on there. So I'm gonna take this filling, I'm gonna put a nice amount in there and then my spatula and spread it out.
And I love that like you're incorporating so many like of the same. So you add the ashta to your buttercream. You're using the buttercream in two places,
Yeah.
combining them together.
Exactly. So I'm actually gonna put another dam because I don't want that stuff to fall out either. So this is the shredded phyllo dough. It's pretty much, so it's orange because of food coloring. So
Right.
it's just like an orange like powder and then they use that. So then I'm gonna put some pistachios in here and these are another item, like a huge staple in Middle Eastern desserts.
Definitely.
Perfect. So now I got my next layer and it's already trimmed.
It looks so beautiful already.
Thank
and
you.
we've only done
Isn't it,
one
like,
layer.
So colorful and so pretty. So I'm just gonna push that down. And then I'm gonna grab my bag again.
So I recently learned something about kanafa. So like originally it was actually colored with saffron.
Yes. Yep.
And like back in the day. And now we just use orange food coloring
know.
powder.
Sometimes it's easier, but it became like that color became like the staple for it. There are different ones. Like sometimes they don't have it.
Right.
But it's just, it's it. You know, it's just orange. That's pretty much it. Some people think they look like they're carrots, but no, it's
Shredded carrots.
not a shredded carrot cake because I don't know how I feel about like fresh carrots on my cake. but-
Texturally, that might be a little
Yeah.
hard to consume.
Right. All right. So I like to do 3 layers of cake and 2 layers of filling on mine because I like a nice filling. And then, especially with this, you have so many different components in it, and people love that they can get like all of it in like one bite.
It's so beautiful, and it's actually a really tall cake.
It is, yeah.
This is like this would serve.
So typically, our 8-inch serves about 15 to 18 people. You don't have to cut the slices as big
Right.
because it's such a tall cake. All right, so now I'm gonna add some buttercream on the outside. I got my big tub back here.
Ooh, scoops
So-
of buttercream.
Yes.
This is heavenly. Like literally
yeah.
creamy.
And it's
Like-
super fluffy and soft. I know, some people think it's like ice cream or
Oh
something.
my
but-
goodness. When all this is amazing.
Thank you.
And do you have any tips for someone that's like icing a cake like this? Because you're just moving. You're the pro. You're like.
Yeah. To be honest, it's all about like practice. Just repetition, repetition, repetition. So I'm like smoothing the buttercream in there. I put more than needs to be. So sometimes if you don't put enough, you're spending the whole time just trying to smooth it on the cake.
Right.
So I put more than needs to be, and then I'm gonna actually clean it up. So I'm gonna pull any excess here, any on top of here. I'm just gonna add it to the side of this bowl.
So for someone at home, would you recommend like an offset spatula and a
Yes,
turntable?
definitely an offset spatula. I have a large offset spatula. I have a bench scraper, and then I also have a small offset spatula. Sometimes I use that for like the top. And then I'm just gonna clean it up with this. And then actually I have a secret, not so secret, but I have a very useful tool that I'll be showing you guys.
I'm
in just a second.
excited.
Yeah.
I
so
always
then-
love to learn like the pros tip.
Yeah.
You know, their secret tips because you're doing this every day. So
every day, all day. So yeah, so this for Love of Sugar gift cards, we always have them. So I'll basically, let me do it on this hand then. So I'll put the card, and then and like it just smooths it out.
Wow.
And then I'm gonna do the top.
How
go
did you
hard
come
on-
up with that?
So I didn't actually. So one of my workers, one of my employees, she learned this trick somewhere else, and then she started using it. And I was like, wow, I think it's so important to be able to like learn from other people.
Absolutely.
And I base a lot of my knowledge off of that. You know, my just type of management style is very open communication, and I feel like you can learn from their experiences just as much as they can share with, or you can share with them. You know.
Absolutely. I
So-
love this tip because everyone has a card. Just, you know, sterilize it, wash it, whatever.
Yep.
You might not have a bench scraper, but something that everyone at home can be using.
Yeah, but I mean,
Brilliant.
thank you.
That's wonderful.
And then we're gonna put some rosettes on top.
And that's kind of your signature decorating style for your cakes, which I love because now everyone's come to know like this is.
Yes, exactly. All right, and then we're gonna add the toppings. So I have the shredded phyllo dough that's gonna go in the center.
Beautiful. My gosh, that color is just so
It's so vibrant.
stunning.
Yeah. And then the pistachios are gonna go on the rosettes.
This just screams eat me and celebrate.
I
like happiness,
agree.
joy, like
It's a perfect like so like a lot of people during Eid,
yeah.
they'll grab the kanafe cake so to share with like their families. So
That's so
it's
special.
really fun. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to
appreciate it.
try it.
Yep. I'm gonna cut you a nice big slice.
Thank
so
you.
you better have an appetite.
Yay, I do. I haven't had lunch yet.
Okay, good. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming and trying all this cool stuff. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited to try the
Yeah,
knafa cake.
awesome.
Thank you so much for teaching me how to
course.
make it and being so creative and kind of your way of salvaging milk that might be going bad. It's like so easy for people at home to do the
Yeah, it
same
is.
and make ashta
Yeah.
and then maybe make a cake like this. Oh, should we dig in?
Yeah.
All
let's
right.
go.
Bismillah. Oh my god. Like the perfect bite. You get like the shredded phyllo. Oh, the cake is
Yeah.
the cake is so soft. You get those floral notes.
But it's not like super like florally. So I don't want it to be like overwhelming, but you still get those flavors of that. And then the pistachios, there isn't that many, but it adds to that like that nuttiness, I guess you could say.
Definitely. And it gives it more texture too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so delicious.
Good. I'm glad
Oh
you
my
like
gosh.
it.
The buttercream, like the ashta, you, like that flavor, is just so rich and smooth.
Good. It's always a good sign when like it's quiet.
Oh, definitely. I'm just enjoying savoring this bite.
It's great with coffee too. It has like a really nice balance with like. So my cakes in general aren't super sweet. So they pair very well with like a black coffee or, you know, a latte, whatever it is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
You're
Meryl.
welcome.
Oh, it
No
was
problem.
great seeing you.
Thanks for coming by. It was really great having you and you know, sharing all of that with you, especially because of your background as well. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this to go.
all right, I'll get you back.
This is so delicious. I'm just like digging into this delicious knafa cake.
Mm-hmm.
I hope everyone like comes and tries the knafa
Yeah.
cake that, for the love of sugar.
Thank you.
Oh,
Sahtin,
thank
as
you
we
so
would
much.
say. You're welcome.
قلبي. Thank you so much for teaching me how you reduce food waste in your kitchen and
Of
for the
course.
incredible treats. It was a pleasure spending the day with you.
Thank you for coming. I really had a pleasure having you. So it was nice sharing all that with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bakers Sarah and Manal have shown us how fruit and milk have life beyond how we normally consume them. Sarah used ripe bananas combined with okra flour for her island monkey bread. Manal heated milk and made clotted cream to incorporate into her cake filling. Throughout our series, we've learned about broths, touched upon preserving with salt, sugar, and oil, discussed freezing and upcycling or getting double use from the same ingredient. For all levels of home cooks, mixologists, bakers, and chefs, we can find ways to reduce waste, salvage food in our kitchens, and save money. If we want to take it a step further, we can volunteer and give back to our communities to help reduce food insecurity. While we have been on a journey to prevent food waste, Detroit's food community has taught us about the intangible ingredients we all need: creativity, family, comfort, balance, and love. Until we see you again, make food, not waste.